What a sports week coming up. While baseball officially had opening day in Japan between the Dodgers and Cubs last week, MLB will host a more traditional opening day on Thursday. 28 teams play in 14 games scheduled throughout the afternoon and evening, the same day as the men's basketball tournament Sweet 16 tips off as well. On Monday, key games on the women's side continue tonight. Also on Monday, the TGL's best-of-3 season finale tips off, and ESPN's Scott Van Pelt will move on-site to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, for the matches starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Remember, Van Pelt has served as ESPN's TGL host throughout the season, but he has done so from his DC studio. Now he's going on-site ESPN, getting all behind the TGL. Expect more promotion today. Van Pelt will present the SoFi Cup to the winning team on Tuesday night. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 24th. Good morning. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening. You know, a lot has gone down since I last hosted the Buzzcast, specifically the Celtics sale. Here's my takeaway from the deal. What is fascinating to me is that successful bidder Bill Chisholm said he will stick with the succession plan of the Celtics, with current majority owner Wyc Grousbeck overseeing the team through the 27-28 season. Now, everyone I know is surprised by that, as it's very odd and unique that a new owner would spend all that money, yet keep Wyc Grousbeck in control over the next 3 years. Now, Bill Chisholm will certainly be involved in the major team decisions, but Wyc Grousbeck will be the day-to-day person in charge, and they're very encouraged early on by the connection of their relationship. And I would certainly hope so, because it's a very unique and different setup. Now, 51% of the team will be sold to Bill Chisholm soon after it's approved by the NBA Board of Governors, with the balance closing in 2028. That could bring the final price tag of this team to close to $6.7 billion, because the shares that will be sold in 2028 will be more highly valued because of the NBA's expected revenue growth. So while the figure now is $6.1 billion, it will go even higher as they close the deal. It's a remarkable sale number, and I did not think it would get this high. In addition, there is a lot of intrigue about the relationship between Wyc Grousbeck and his former partner, Celtics co-owner Steve Pagliuca. Now, Steve Pagliuca put a group together, made a bid, and he was understandably very disappointed that his bid to purchase the franchise was not accepted. Now, he was part of the original group that bought the Celtics in 2002, and he put out a stinging statement late last week that he had worked tirelessly to put forth a compelling offer for the team, one that he felt was the best offer for the Celtics. He was also pretty blunt when he wrote of having new partners with deep resources that could compete for championships, quote, luxury taxes be damned, end quote. That, to me, was a dig that he was intent on keeping the team intact, and perhaps a prediction that Bill Chisholm might break up the Celtics because of the costly luxury taxes the team faces because of its high payroll. Now, despite Pagliuca's disappointment, it came down to the Grousbeck family taking the biggest and best offer, as in the end, Pagliuca's offer wasn't for as much money as Bill Chisholm's record deal. Meanwhile, Wyc Grousbeck indicated late Friday that there is no need for new ownership to build a new arena. He said that the TD Garden is, quote, not broken. Now remember, the Celtics are a tenant. The Jacobs family, who own the Bruins, owns TD Garden. And Wyc Grousbeck said there was room for really only one arena in Boston and not two. And he said the team has a strong relationship with the Jacobs family. He added if they ever decided to do something about a new arena, He predicted the Celtics and Bruins would do it together, with both teams playing in one arena. So the deal is still being sorted out, and the early reaction on sports talk radio in Boston has been lukewarm to Bill Chisholm. Now, a number of locals wanted Pagliuca to land the team. He was a known quantity, and he would likely have kept the same culture and approach for the Celtics in place, an approach which has been quite successful. There is more of a layer of uncertainty around Bill Chisholm, even though he's from Boston, he's a huge Celtics fan, but many aren't sure that will translate to success for the franchise, and they just don't know enough about the new owner of this storied franchise. A lot of interest, a lot of intrigue around the Celtics deal. Let's move on to college sports. SMU has landed a new athletics director after Rick Hart is departing. The school is turning to University of Maryland AD Damon Evans to lead athletics in Dallas. This comes after about a 6-week search. Now, Damon Evans, no stranger to the AD role. He was named athletic director at Maryland in 2018. Maryland has won 7 national championships under his watch. He was also named to the CFP selection committee. He'll serve a 3-year term. Prior to Maryland, Damon Evans served as athletic director at the University of Georgia for 6 years. So now he goes to SMU, and SMU's had a great run. They had its highest ranking ever in the Learfield Directors Cup Division I fall standings. SMU has also seen record fundraising and attendance during its inaugural season in the ACC. Last year, SMU set a program record with 8 championship teams. So Damon Evans goes from Maryland to SMU. Now at Maryland, they have named their senior deputy athletic director, Colleen Swarm, as its interim AD. No decision yet on what their next move will be, but a change in ranks at the University of Maryland. Speaking of changes, more changes at Nike, and one that caught my eye is Nike will be looking for a new communications leader. This is a big role, as the company's chief communications officer, Kewan Wilkins, will be leaving the company. And these are part of a number of changes under new Nike CEO Elliott Hill. Now, since Elliott Hill started at Nike, the company has had or announced new heads of sports marketing, of their legal department, and HR. Now, Wilkins decided to leave Nike to spend more time with his family. He joined the company in 2006. He's worked his way up through the ranks. I've known him for years, becoming the company's top communications executive in 2023. They will have to fill this role. It's an incredibly important role shaping the messaging for Nike. So Nike on the lookout for a new chief communications officer. Let's shift to soccer. Some good news for the NWSL continues in the attendance ranks because a number of teams held their home opener over the weekend. Let's go through some of the numbers real quick. The Washington Spirit drew a home opener record crowd, a sellout crowd, 19,200 in DC. The Portland Thorns opener drew almost 16,000. Bay FC on Saturday, they drew more than 14,000 for their win over Racing Louisville. And on Saturday, NC Courage, they had a home opener and drew more than 8,100 fans. You may think that isn't a lot. Well, that number, more than 8,000 fans, that set a new club record for home opener attendance for the Courage. It was also the 6th highest attendance in club history overall. So we're seeing early, strong attendance numbers in the NWSL. Certainly a story to keep an eye on. I said I was in Los Angeles last week for our inaugural Business of Soccer conference, and much of the discussion was focused on the responsibility of soccer stakeholders to grow the game in North America coming out of the World Cup next year. Now, there are plenty of ways to do that, but none would be more effective or successful than if the U.S. men's national team performed well and got far in the tournament. I bring this up because the U.S. men's national team did not have a good week this week. They suffered 2 bad losses in the CONCACAF Nations League at SoFi Stadium in LA. Now, yes, there is plenty of time to turn things around before next year's World Cup, but these were both unfortunate performances, and the U.S. came into the tournament having won the first 3 Nations League titles. They were the heavy favorite on Thursday, but lost to Panama. That was followed by a loss on Sunday to Canada in the 3rd-place match. So both losses took place at SoFi Stadium. And what's the significance there? Well, that's where the U.S. team will play its World Cup opener on June 12th, just over 400 days away. So yes, there's a lot of time to turn this around, but not the outcome that the U.S. men's national team or U.S. soccer wanted at the Nations League. Meanwhile, this week's issue of Sports Business Journal looks at whether the U.S. and its host cities are ready for the World Cup when it lands just over 400 days from today. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 24th. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. I'll speak to you tomorrow.